What's up, everybody? Got an interesting one today. I actually have a commission build listing on Facebook Marketplace, as well as the flips I do, and I've had it up for probably over a year. I'd say well over a year, and I have not had anything come from it. Like, don't get me wrong, I've talked to several people, and a lot of them usually there's been three or four that seemed like they were really serious, helped them pick out parts. When it came down to the nut cutting, like, they end up ghosting me, or I don't know, they probably end up having a friend or something that's like, hey, don't pay to have that done, I'll help you with it. But I finally have one that I actually have parts, as you see in front of me, in hand. Like, the listing is for a flat $100 fee. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about that. I just, I don't really have any specifications, which I probably should, because I mean, that's just a regular, air cooled or AIO build. Like, obviously, I'm not doing hardline water cooled builds or anything for a flat $100 rate. But you guys let me know in the comments how y'all think I should go about that. If I'm doing it right, or if there's anything you would change as far as how I would go about pricing it. But basically, I'll help you pick the parts out, uh, and go ahead and do the build for you. You want to do that clearly because you want to make sure they have compatible parts. Because I can't help you if you bring me AMD and Intel mixed stuff that doesn't work out. Uh, and then they just bring me the parts once they've ordered them and got them all together. Or a lot of people, like this guy, use PC part picker list. And it looks like it did pretty well for him. He looks like he's gonna have a really solid build when he's done. But then I just charge a flat $100 rate. I just build the PC, install an OS, and bring it back to him. That's the idea anyway. Like I said, I haven't had any that I've actually completely gone through and got to do a build for him. This is the very first one. And this guy is super laid back, super casual, very trusting, I would say. I mean, I've got a 5-star rating on Facebook Marketplace from all my Willing and Dylan prior, but man, we didn't talk a whole hell of a lot. We just, he let me know what parts he had and what time I could do it. He was still waiting on the liquid cooler to come in from Amazon, and he said when it came in the next day, he would bring me all the parts, and he did. And he actually didn't come the very next day. It was the day after. And because of my past experiences, like I said, everybody always gets down to the wire and then they just end up ghosting me or going another route. But he hit me up at like 3 p.m. and was like, hey, I got all the parts. When should I drop them off? Uh, as y'all know, if you follow the channel, I work at a local grocery store. Everybody knows. So he does at least know where I work. But he came up and loaded the parts into the Jeep himself. And that was it. He was like, just let me know what I owe you. And when you're done, I just thought that was really trusting because he's got 2 or 3 grand worth of parts here. Uh, and honestly, as long as this build goes well, it couldn't have worked out any better for both of us, really, because he ended up going with the Kraken Elite 360, which that's why I say it worked out really well for both of us because he is going with the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Like, this is an expensive chip. I'm gonna be kind of nervous when I'm building this, but so obviously he's gonna need the AM5 bracket for this Kraken AIO. If you follow the channel, I just bought a 240 Kraken and I got it for $50. It was a great deal because this AIO goes for more than $200. The only drawback with the one I got off Facebook Marketplace is it only had the LGA 1200 bracket with it. So I'm gonna ask him before I take him or whatever. But I'm gonna see if he'll part with the other brackets for this because he doesn't need them. He only needs the AM5 one, and that works out great for me because I do have an LGA 1200, but just in case, that way I'll be able to use it on anything other than AM5, which I'm very unlikely to build with anyway. I use mostly AM4 builds for my flips, and that's a nice little cooler. I mean, I actually, when this came out, I was going to go with that for my personal build. But another way that it worked out really well was he ended up going with the same exact case that I have. I don't know if you can see in the background here, but I have my case broke out, not put together yet. I'm having to postpone my stuff because of stuff like this arising. But he got everything. He did really well on getting his parts together, but he didn't account for any more fans other than what's in the case. The only thing that makes the NZXT H9 Elite, because there's a flow variation of it that doesn't come with any fans other than the one non-RGB back exhaust fan. So the only thing that makes it Elite is it has 3 of the NZXT Duo fans that are RGB with a controller, and I don't need those because I'm going with Lian Li fans entirely in my build. So I could have saved myself some money going with the flow variation, but this works out perfect because I was like, man, if you want the 3 fans out of mine to put on the bottom of your case to fill it the rest of the way up, because that's all he was lacking. The bottom of his build was just going to be completely empty. I'll give you a deal on them, and that way it kind of evens us both out. It worked, couldn't have worked out any better. I'm going to get the brackets from his Kraken if he'll let me have them. I don't see why he wouldn't. And I offered to sell him my 3 fans and controller for $50. If you look those up, they go for $90 to $100. They're nice fans. The thing that makes those unique is the RGB ring shines from both sides of the fan, and the Elite has a mesh back panel where you can see the RGB through both sides. So that couldn't have worked out any better, honestly. As long as this build goes great and I don't have any, anything go wrong, then this came out really good. I'm gonna make $150 and he's gonna get his build put together and have the 3 fans he was lacking. Because it would have looked, kind of empty at the bottom of it just being, especially how high end of a build he went with. It would have looked empty having the bottom not having any fans. But he didn't get RGB on his top 3 fans on his radiator, but it's still going to be a really nice build once it all comes together. He went with the 5070. So again, dude was pretty trusting to load all these parts in my Jeep and just hope I build his computer and bring it back to him. But let's go ahead and unbox this on camera so y'all get a little bit more out of this, because I'm not going to do the entire build on camera. I'm usually kind of slow moving, if I'm honest. When I do builds, I enjoy doing it, and I don't get in any hurry. Like, I might screw in a screw and then watch a 30-minute YouTube video, and then screw in another screw and watch another 30-minute YouTube video. But this, for the first time, is going to have to be a little bit more hasty, because I'd like to get this done today, because I need to get back to work, because it's Saturday in a meat market during grilling season. I'm needed at work, but I'd like to go ahead and try to knock this out pretty quick and get his PC to him as quick as possible and get my workbench cleared off, because I do still have the height build I promised y'all. I have it pretty much done. And I'm going to have another video coming really soon on that, but I had to set it aside so I could knock this out for him. The funny part is I literally have had so many people hit me up to where I've had long, like, back and forth, paragraph long messages with people, helping them out with their builds and giving them advice that ended up going nowhere. I don't mind helping people out. I'm a PC enthusiast, so I'm not gonna not help somebody, but I honestly was about to delete the listing because nothing has come of it. And, you know, with Facebook Marketplace, you get a lot of weird, stupid stuff sometimes and stupid people that can waste your time if you let them. But at least get a little unboxing out of it since you're not going to get to see the full build. Which when I get done, I will make another small video just showcasing the build in its entirety. But this is the 5070. I thought it was kind of funny he went with a 5070 and not at least a TI 5070, considering he went with like the best CPU you can get other than the 9950 X3D. It is a little concerning that he went with the Aorus motherboard because the X3D chips and the Aorus motherboards have not been going good together. Supposedly they've got a BIOS update that's supposed to fix that, but they've been like popping and messing people's motherboards and CPUs up. So I'm definitely going to have to make sure I update the BIOS and forewarn him about that because I don't want to be responsible for that. Which goes back to you guys, let me know in the comments if you think there's a better way I should go about this other than the $100 flat rate. And I probably should draw up some kind of something for them to sign to let them know I'm not responsible if they have a defective part, because that can happen, and then they have to go through that RMA, because I really don't want to have to do that myself. But anyway, here's his card. He got a PNY Stealth, I think is what this one's called. 5070, 12 gigabytes of GDDR7 VRAM. It's a nice little card. I thought, you know, I would have went with the 5070 Ti or 5080 at least, going with that high end of a CPU. But all in all, it's going to be a really nice build. I'm going to get to work and get all this done. I've already got my 3 fans taken out of my case to put in his. So this should be pretty quick since it's so high end. Shouldn't have to do any, you know, that fans come with the controller. Shouldn't have to do anything too crazy. Should be able to knock it out pretty quick. But yeah, just thought I'd share with you guys. Pretty excited. Had to share with somebody that something finally came out of my commission build listing. And hopefully everything goes smoothly and we don't have any setbacks. And all his hardware works as it should. He didn't get anything extra in his. Like, if y'all saw me unbox my Astral, I got all kinds of little extras, which you should, as high-end and expensive as that card was. All he got was the little splitter cable for the high-power cord. There's, as far as I can tell, nothing, no extras. Like mine came with like a little graphics card keycap and a magnet and lanyard and this and that, but they are actually becoming more available, and some of them even somewhat close to MSRP, but we'll see how that levels out. Let's set that aside. And that'll be the last thing we get to, but yeah, I just want to share with you guys what's going on, and I'll do another little upload whenever I get the build done in its entirety, kind of showcasing it. But hope you guys have an awesome Saturday, awesome weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.